that stock which has been perhaps the most bullish in the index, the Coal India stock, charting all-time highs practically every day. That's the Coal India stock, up nearly 1% even today. On that note, let's invite the person who probably was partly responsible for making this happen. Anil Swarup, Secretary, Ministry of Coal, joins us. Good morning, Mr. Swarup. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning.
Certainly, congratulations are in order. Coal output in the country is rising at 8%, and we've never seen that kind of output rise in the past 10 years, ever since at least we started tracking Coal India as a listed stock. So, is this likely to be bettered in the remaining part of the year? Will we reach double digits?
Thank you very much. A slight correction in terms of coal production figures. Coal India in the first quarter has 12%, more than 12% growth over the previous year. And this is over the record growth last year, which was 32 million tons, more than the cumulative growth in the previous 4 years. There are good reasons why this production has increased. And it's on account of those reasons that one believes that this would be sustained. Coal India acquired more than 2,000 hectares of land last year. They got 41 environment clearances. And as a consequence of these clearances and this acquisition of land and the effort that has been put in by the people in Coal India, the production has gone up, consequent to which most of the power plants in a very comfortable position today. Most of them have more than 20 days of coal.
So give us an idea of how output might pan out for the remaining part for FY16. Will 12 be what we have to stick with for Coal India? I was actually referring to the national output, which on a month-wise basis stands at 8%. But yes, in Coal India, is 12 the number that we have to work with for the remaining part of the year, or would it be even better?
It could be even better. We have targeted for 550 million tons this year. And our hope is that we should hit 560 million tons, the way we are going. 550 million ton is about 11.5% more than previous year. We are clocking 12.3%, and if we grow at that rate, we should hit 560 million tons.
Okay. Mr. Swarup, morning. So 560 million tons, what would that mean in terms of a monthly run rate? And what has been leading to such a good growth that you've seen as far as coal production is concerned?
This would actually mean about 12% growth over the previous year. And since we've clocked that in the first 3 months, there's no reason not to believe that it would be that in the coming months. What has actually happened in the past 10-12 months is the intensive engagement that we've had with the state governments. As you'll understand, that most of the coal mining activity happens in the states.
Yes.
And we've been engaging very intensively with the state governments, and we've got maximum cooperation from them. States like Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Odisha, all have been extremely cooperative, and that is the reason so much land has been acquired. That is the reason so many environment and forest clearance have come through. We are opening a mine every month, a new mine every month, and expanding the existing mines. The whole mood is quite upbeat in terms of getting things moving, and probably that has made the difference in terms of increasing coal production. And we do believe that this will be sustained over the next few months and few years.
Well, as is typical of the media, let me put that fact on its head. What we now understand is that the absorptive capacity of power plants has reached its limit. That if you were to do even better than this, there is no absorption capacity. The normal inventory level of, 20 days inventory has already been reached. If you were to get it to even higher than that, then you will actually be producing coal which the power plants are unable to absorb. You see that situation panning out?
No, I see, there are periods in a particular year when the demand gets low. It doesn't mean that demand is going to be low. Even today, despite this high production, we are unable to fulfill the entire requirement of power plants, our commitment. So there's still, we are short of the entire demand. The lack of demand at this point in time is a very temporary phenomenon. Imagine last year, India imported more than 200 million tons, which means that there was a demand-supply gap. If we are able to plug that and bring down the imports, that will be a big deal, and that's what we are aiming at, that there is indeed demand for it. As far as the power plants are concerned, I think the demand will certainly pick up as manufacturing picks up, as demand in the agriculture sector picks up. This demand is going to go up. Let us not go by the temporary lack of demand in the power sector at this point in time. A lot of good effort is being put in by the Power Ministry to see if there are any problems at that end. They are sorted out. They are engaging with the state governments in terms of getting this state electricity boards going. So there is no shortage of demand for power. There is a bit of a problem in purchasing power at the end of the SEBs in terms of buying power. That is being taken care of by the Power Ministry, and I think next 2-3 months we'll see a change there. So we cannot, rest on our laurels and say that supply has gone up. In fact, we've got to do much more and get more supply going.
On the contrary, Mr. Swarup, the power companies as well as the DISCOMs, we have spoken to at least 4 or 5 very large power distribution companies. Nobody is asking for a PPA. All we got was one minor PPA from Andhra Pradesh in the last 1 year or so. The amount of power that has come into the system is about 20,000 megawatts, and the PPA signed over the last 3 years are only 8,500 megawatts. There is a genuine problem of oversupply vis-a-vis the current ability of DISCOMs to buy power. That is precisely why I'm telling you that if you produce more coal, there may not be takers.
You were asking me a very different question 6 months ago.
Yes.
So if you don't produce coal, you ask me a question.
Exactly.
If I do produce coal, you ask me another question.
I told you
you ask this question.
I told you we are reaching a situation.
Understand. Why don't you get the power secretary and ask him these questions? My hope is that the power will improve. You live by hope. I cannot say since there's no power, so I should stop coal production. Would you suggest me to do that?
Okay, coming back to your area of expertise then, Mr. Swarup, since we last spoke, has the situation of rake availability improved? I mean, when you spoke with us last, you said that 230 odd rakes are supposed to be available currently, and you're looking at another 200 odd rakes. Can you tell us what is the rake availability per day? How much was it in the June quarter, and how much have things improved?
There has been a dramatic improvement in terms of availability of rakes. Last year, we had around 190 odd rakes. This year, on an average, we are doing more than 200 rakes. More than 10 to 12 rakes are already becoming available. Coal India has already placed an order for supply of another 34 rakes as soon as possible. We are looking at in all 200 rakes in the next 4 to 5 years, because we believe as the coal production gets ramped up, we'll require additional rakes to transport them. We worked it out in the manner in which the coal production is going to go up in the coming years. Right now, we have around 200 odd rakes coming from railways. To double the production from the existing levels of 494 million tons to 1 billion ton, we'll require to double the capacity of rakes as well. And that is what we planned. A fundamental primary decision has been taken in terms of procuring rakes. Order, as I said, for 34 rakes has already been placed. And as we go along, we will place more orders for rakes.
Okay. Well, Mr. Swarup, the reason why I brought the power angle in was primarily because power companies at the moment are in a very weak state. Those that are producing power don't find enough buyers, and there are people sitting with capacity and unable to generate because they have committed to buy coal at a certain price, and they may not be allowed to pass it on. I meant those who did the reverse bidding. Is there any rethink on that?
No, let me explain the whole thing to you. As far as the reverse bidding part is concerned, there is absolutely no rethink on that. We were very clear, we still are very clear, we'll continue to be clear that the tender document was absolutely clear, there was no question of going back. But coming to the question as far as the demand for power is concerned, I agree with you that at this point in time, there are no PPAs coming. Let us understand why aren't they coming. They aren't coming because of the financial health of most of the SEBs. Now, I understand, and I've been part of some of these discussions, the Power Ministry is engaging with the state governments very intensively to see how this demand could go up. Now, a similar question was asked of Coal Ministry about 10 months ago when nothing was moving in Coal Ministry. We managed to move that. I'm sure we will be able to manage the power sector as well to get the State Electricity Board in a better financial position where they could be in a position to demand more power. Now, you will appreciate the fact that there is indeed demand for power. It is not the demand that is missing. It is the purchasing power of the SEBs that is the problem. Because there are still areas where there is no supply 24/7, which the government is attempting at this point in time. And hence it is important to rejuvenate these SEBs. And it is with that objective that the Power Ministry is engaging very intensively with the state governments. A clear, detailed paper is being made out. Discussions are underway. You have to believe us. You didn't believe us 10 months ago when I talked to you about coal. Please believe us about power as well. The Power Secretary is engaging in that discussion. It is being discussed at the highest level. And the government is extremely concerned about the financial health of SEBs, and they are engaging with them. And we are very hopeful that, like in case of coal sector, power sector will also revive, and there will be a revival of demand.
No, this is a debate we would definitely like to lose. I mean, we would be happy if we lost this argument with the Power Secretary as well. But Mr. Swarup, you know, that reverse bid coal, a lot of power companies are now worried that if they have to supply, you know, not be able to pass on any coal price to the power discoms when they sell power, then their finances get rocky even more. Is there any rethink on that, you know, that condition that you all put in, that you have to pass?
Can I ask you a counter question? You use the term lot of companies. What is this number?
I mean, almost all the power companies. I mean, there are hardly any healthy power companies.
No, there are more than 60 power companies in the country.
Okay.
Which are producing power. When you say lot, they have to be more than 30.
Oh, even more than 30, sir. I mean, for sure. In fact,
reverse. There are only how many power companies bid?
Oh, for the reverse power.
Bid?
Okay.
9.
Okay. Okay.
Reverse, yeah, 9.
Okay. No.
9 out of 60.
Yeah. In those cases.
Let me tell you very clearly, and I've been stating that on your channel very clearly, that we were very clear in what we were saying. In each of the interviews that you took of mine, I stated very clearly what is the objective of reverse bidding.
Yes.
Now, if someone wants to deliberately dig his grave and jump into it, what can the government do about it? You keep asking me this question in every interview. If they did whatever they did with their eyes wide open, if they did with whatever they did with their eyes out open, they have to suffer. What can government do about it? I mean, government cannot be asked questions about everything. If you were not clear, everyone was clear. You asked me, you please look at your previous interviews that you took of me. I very clearly said the whole objective of reverse bidding is to bring the tariff down. I had also explained how it will come down. Now, by simple understanding of economics and English language, what exactly was I saying? How can you smuggle the coal cost into a fixed cost? Can you? Please ask anybody. I mean, if you ask the interested party, obviously the interested party will say, no, some injustice has been done to us. We were not clear. They were not clear. We were absolutely clear.
Okay. No, I'm just getting that on board, that you are not going to change your stand on that.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Okay, so let's move on and talk about, before we go across to issues like coal linkages, etc. Just wanted to come back to that point you made about the 12% growth in production that you're looking at, and you've given us a figure of 560 million tons. But what about dispatch? Because finally it boils down to how much the dispatch growth will be. In the month of June, I think it was just about 8% odd. How much higher can we expect going forward?
You know, as I said, though the number of rakes has improved, there would be requirement of more rakes, and that is why we've ordered rakes. And that is how we are going to move more coal. So once these additional 34 rakes come, which should come in another 5-6 months, I think again the dispatch will also improve.
Okay. One more question from my end on the auctioning of coal linkages. Has there been anything finalized on that? The last we heard that there were some representatives from Coal India who were not in favor to it, and there were some legal issues that cropped up. But in terms of a timeline, when can we expect things to flow through?
Let me explain this to you. For any proposition that you make, whether in the public or the private domain, there would obviously be some people who would not be very happy with it. Especially those that have benefited from the existing regime would obviously not want it to be changed. I mean, that's okay. We've taken them on record. Now, let me explain this to you. For the regulated sector, we have opened 2 fresh windows of e-auction. This is not auction of linkages. There's 5 million ton for such entities that have medium-term and long-term PPA, and it will be a restricted auction amongst those entities so that more coal becomes available to them. The second window is for such entities we do not have PPA, because we want them also to access coal, and this again will be limited bidding for such entities which do not have PPAs. The idea here, as we have more and more coal becoming available, we should make coal available to such entities who do not have an FSA or who do not have a linkage. So that's one. As far as the unregulated sector is concerned, there are 2 parts to it. One were such unregulated linkages that were for such entities that had got blocked earlier and got cancelled. Their linkages were tapered, and these supplies will cease by 30th of September. However, we will see to it that we earmark coal for e-auction for such entities that had a block earlier and that block was cancelled. Now, Coming to the last point of e-auction of linkages for unregulated sector in general. We had floated a paper, we've got certain responses, we've examined them, and maybe in 15 days' time we'll come up with a policy and announce what is the next line of action on that.
Okay. Just a point of detail, as the captive mines which were auctioned start producing, is it likely that the amount of auctioned or market-linked Coal India quantum will increase?
I couldn't get your question.
No,
Can you come again?
if more of the companies start using captive mines, which have now been auctioned and are available to them, is it possible that Coal India will have excess over their FSA commitments, and therefore they will be, at the moment they auction 10%, will they be able to increase that auction amount?
You look at what we are doing already. We already have an e-auction 10%
yes.
lid on that.
Will that amount increase is what I'm asking.
No, it's already in.
Okay.
Look at it. We've already created 2 windows of 5 million tons each.
Okay.
Over and above that. So
Okay.
as more and more coal becomes available, our first option would be to fulfill our commitment
Yes.
with regard to FSA. And whatever additional coal is available will be put on auction.
So you think that this year it could be 20%? Or maybe in the next 12 months?
I frankly speaking, I don't believe in numbers. We are going through a process. You will see the numbers for yourself.
Okay. Well, the other policy decision that was taken is that commercial mining will be allowed in course of time. Is there any timetable, any procedures that we should start expecting?
Yeah, as I had said during my last chat with your channel,
yes.
We are going step by step. There was a workshop organized by FICCI. They are working on the document consequent to the suggestions that emerged during the workshop. Once they submit the paper, we look at it. We are working towards it, but we don't want to jump into it because there are a number of nuances that have to be understood before we actually start going for commercial mining.
Okay. Just one final question. You were telling us that 2,000 hectares of land has been, acquired by Coal India. So on that front, there's quite a bit of work that's being done. In the next, say, 6 to 12 months, in terms of land clearances and the evacuation infrastructure, how much more developments or progress can we expect?
As I've been repeatedly saying that we believe in putting in place processes. What is the ultimate outcome? You've seen in the past, we've refused to divulge numbers per se because we don't believe in such targets and numbers. We believe in processes. We put processes in place where land acquisition will continue to happen. I mean, the classic example is those 3 railway lines that had been pending for so many years. They've got moving. And now we are fairly convinced that we are going to have these 3 railway lines by December 2017. Why and how did this happen? Because we put in place processes where land acquisition started happening. Land is getting transferred to railways for construction. Similarly, clearances are coming through. So we are totally focused on processes. The actual numbers you will get to know yourself, don't worry about it. We'll reveal them as and when they come. But it is difficult for me to give you a number, by this date, so much land will be acquired, by this date, so much environment clearance will happen. No, we don't do that way. We do it in a manner that we go through the process, we push these processes and numbers are there for you to see.
So just give us a broad ballpark in terms of the time for commercial mining. Should we expect that auctions for that could start in the current financial year?
We are trying to see if it could happen within this current financial year, but I can't say for sure it will happen by then.
You usually achieve your targets. You usually achieve your targets, Mr. Swarup. So I want to know what are your targets.
That's why I don't mention them to you.
Okay. I mean, even if it's a hope that commercial mining can start in FY16, that will be, something very positive for the policy landscape, which is why I'm asking you. You are hopeful it's FY16.
We are moving in that direction. We are moving in that direction.
All right, Mr. Swarup, I must tell you that even if you don't mention it to us, the regular updates that we get from you on Twitter, on the coal auction, on coal production, that comes as a welcome move. We're not used to such tech-savvy ministers, so we'll take that with both hands. Thank you, sir, so much for joining us and giving us the update.
Pleasure. Thank you.
All right, we'll take a break on that note. But coming up, after Make in India and Digital India, it's time for Skill India. The government is all set to announce a new national policy for skills development. One of the potential beneficiaries of this scheme, NIIT, will join us.